Hello, Internet. This is Ewan Spence and ESC Insight calling. Well, it's the summer. There's the choir and just a little bit of news about the Eurovision Song Contest. Coming up, we have a Danish victory, a Spanish return, and our first Swedish selection of the year. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the summer months as we wait for the on-season calendar to take over, and then there'll be a little bit more of a wait. It's relatively quiet at this point of year, and certainly in terms of the song contest. We have, of course, had Eurovision Choir 2019, and congratulations go to Denmark lifting the prize there up in Gothenburg last weekend. The group was Vocal Line singing the song True North in the first round of the competition, and then in the super final to decide the podium places sung the song Viola. Latvia took silver with Babiet Municipality's mixed choir Maska, and Slovenia's Jazva finished in third. No other placings have been announced, so it's fair to say that both Wales and Scotland, making their debut through BBC Alpha, can quietly suggest that they were fourth, much like Lusatia finished second in 1956. Right then, what have we got to do with the song contest for 2020? Well, host city, first of all, we're down to two, Rotterdam or Maastricht. There have been various visits from the EBU and the organising team and the executive watchers over all the contests. More details are being requested from both cities in terms not just of the stadium but of permits, of issues around capacities and such like. Maastricht is pretty much milking every single PR opportunity it can to talk about itself. Rotterdam is just quietly sitting in the background passing over the folders of information. Make of that what you will. You can read it in whichever way you feel. But we will have a reveal. The date has been given that the award will be made on Friday the 30th of August. That's Friday, and of course the September 1st on season starts on Sunday as well on social media, so that's just timed nicely to kick off the weekend of that set. We're into the season and now we know where we're going. No doubt, although it's not a certainty, but we're pretty sure that the dates will also be confirmed at that point. Maybe it'll be held back for a week or two to build up some more PR suspense. Certainly the Netherlands are getting as much PR as possible out of the selection of the host city. Of course, preparations for the contest don't necessarily have to stay in terms of the host city. As you heard in the last podcast and have read online, there's a number of issues from the 2019 contest to be looked at, such as the jury system, and I've no doubt that there will be lots of committees and working groups going on at the EBU to look at just the jury issue and also other issues that may not necessarily affect the front of house show, but affect that. So all the feedback will be taken from everybody, and that will be worked through as well. You don't need the whole city to decide what to actually do with your route to the stage, for example. Entry list for the contest currently standing at 27, and that does include Ukraine, who said that they would be back as long as Russia didn't win, which they didn't, so we are expecting them back. There's no details yet on the official submissions need to be in by date and the final chance to withdraw without penalty dates as well, but it is early days yet. So let's not just go marking off all the countries as yays or nays at the moment. What we can mark off is America. Eurovision fans on the other side of the Atlantic can now find the replay of this year's contest on Netflix's streaming service. As well as the 2019 contest, the deal announced by the EBU and Netflix means that the 2020 contest will also be available, although this looks to be a post-broadcast replay, not a live deal come May next year in the Netherlands. No doubt that delayed broadcast deal has come about because of the Netflix Eurovision movie. Quite why a union of public service broadcasters has handed the rights of a Eurovision film to a non-member who's not particularly aligned with the business model of public broadcasting, I'm not quite sure, but there is going to be a movie about Eurovision, as you know, with Will Ferrell, that is going to be going ahead. We have had a few more details about the film coming out, including the casting of Pierce Brosnan as the most handsome father in Iceland. Presumably, he's playing a fictionalised version of Peter Fenner. Before the adult contest, and maybe we have the junior contest in November. Junior Eurovision 2019 will take place on Sunday, the 24th of November in the Gilles Arena in Poland. Main arena capacity there is about 13,500, so once you put all the jet staging and bits and pieces in, we could be looking at about an 11,000 seater in there, so much larger than we had in Israel this year. Confirmed entry list, we have 19 countries: Albania, Armenia, Australia, Belarus, France and Georgia, Ireland, Italy, Kazakhstan, Malta, North Macedonia, Poland, Portugal, Russia, Serbia, Spain, the Netherlands, Ukraine and Wales. Gives us our 19. It's previously noted Israel has withdrawn from Junior Eurovision this year, and we had listed Azerbaijan in the previous podcast, and Azerbaijan was listed as well, but they have decided to withdraw from the contest as well. But we do have the return of Spain, who made their last appearance at Junior Eurovision in 2006, and if I remember rightly, they've got two first places, a second and a fourth. That's off the top of my head, but it's incredibly strong performance in those opening years. Whether that will be maintained in their return in 2019 is going to be a curious one. Let's remember Portugal is still in there as well, so there's a little bit of connection going on there as well. And Kazakhstan returning as an associate member, as is S4C and Wales. In terms of the artists and the songs, 4 artists have been chosen, but no songs yet. We'll go into more detail on that in the next Insight Nude podcast. But Junior is well underway to having a successful contest at the end of November. Okay, a couple bits of news from some of the countries. Again, most people are just chilling out or doing other projects and such like. So, Bulgaria have announced that they will be making an announcement regarding their entry into Eurovision 2020 during September. Now, lots of broadcasters have said that they will be letting people know about their details, or we're not entering this year, or we're Monaco, we're still not coming back. But it's worth highlighting Bulgaria one, very much a fan favourite, had to withdraw last year for budgetary concerns. I say last year, I mean last season. NRK have announced more details on the 60th anniversary show of MGP. We're going to have 6 shows in total, 5 heats and a grand final. It's been trimmed back to 20 songs. So in the heats, there will be 4 songs in each of the 5 heats in dual format. So 2 versus 2, and then the winner of each will then fight that for the right to go through to the grand final. That will make up half of the running order, 5 songs of the grand final. The other 5 have basically been giving a bye straight through to the final, and they will be announced presumably 1 per week, the automatic qualifier. My gut feel is that's going to be in between the duels while they do the counting of the votes. So you're going to have duel 1, duel 2, the automatic qualifier, and then the winner of duel 1 and duel 2 taking place in duel 3, and that will be the show. That bit, by the way, is speculation in terms of the running order, but it feels like a natural way of doing it to me. Those heats will start broadcasting on Saturday, January the 11th, and the grand final will be on February the 15th, giving about a month to get everything set up in terms of staging and the final mix going through to the contest in May. Slovenia are doing a new contest as well, in a sense. EMA Fresh is open to artists under 26 who've had 3 commercial releases or less. It's an online contest which features elimination and submissions. The winner of EMA Fresh will be guaranteed a slot in the main EMA contest to go towards the Eurovision Song Contest. And speaking of EMA, the main submission window is now open, and that will close on November the 18th. In terms of new artists, new performances, Sweden will be having its annual P4 Nasta New Music Contest, which is starting in 10 days or so by the time this podcast goes up, August the 24th. 8 artists will take to the stage. One of them will win the P4 Nasta trophy, and one of them, not necessarily the winner, will be selected to go direct to Melody Festival. And you remember last year it was the Lovers of Valdaro. So this year, of the 8, Hugo Andersson, Amanda Assa, Browsing Collection, Tova Glit, Hildur Hoglund, Faith Kakembo, Tim Love and Zuluta will all be competing in that contest. You'll be able to watch it presumably in all the normal places as it starts on 24th. Now it is of course outside of September the 1st deadline, so the artist that does go through to Melody Festival will need a brand new song. And given that MF keeps her songs so tightly hid, you wouldn't want to have one song that we know one song, MF song in September, and we don't get to hear the rest until February. Doesn't quite work. So that all works out quite nicely as well. While your summer for Eurovision continues to draw out towards the on-season, don't forget we've got the Second Cherry podcast from friends of the Parish Monty Moncrief and Matt Baker discussing the national final songs that didn't make it through this year. They've also announced that they will be doing a live Second Cherry recording in November to help crown the winning Almost Eurovision song. And ESC Insight Samantha Ross with Eric Nelson and Danny Vopava will be continuing their look at Eurovision from an American perspective in the 12 Points from America podcast. Couple of dates for you going forward, because we do have some. 19th of August, Malta will be revealing their junior Eurovision singer and song. 20th of August, the day after that, Ukraine will be having their junior Eurovision selection, as already mentioned. 30th of August will be the host city reveal. We may get dates for that as well. And finally, of course, it will then be the 1st of September. The commercial advantage rule will basically have been superseded by the calendar. So anything you hear from that date forward that is new, it can go to Eurovision as long as it meets all the other rules, like 3 minutes, no more than 6 on stage, etc., etc. Unless those rules change as well. But who knows? If those change or don't change, we will let you know here on the ESC Insight News podcast. Thanks very much for listening. Get back out and enjoy the summer if you can. And if not, realise that it's always this rainy at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe and you should be listening to my Fringe podcast as well. Subtle plug. There, I'm done. Let's play the guitars. The ESC Insight News podcast this week was hosted by Ewan Spence, written by Ewan Spence and Charlene Wright.